or how plastered she's gonna get. Well, she...
No, we kind of do know that. That's the one thing we know about Sebame.
Oh man.
So Matthew,
Yeah.
we were at this KFC in a food court, and I was marveling about malls.
A lot of strange stuff going on.
I don't spend much time in malls, but I know that malls are not the real world. And the real world is not malls.
This is what you've deduced
Yes.
in your 31 years.
Yeah. Malls are nothing like the real world. You look around, there are more children, it would seem, than there are in the real world.
Yeah.
I'm out in the real world all the time. Seeing people. Looking around. People are walking down the streets. Maybe it's just that downtown there aren't as many children. But I see some children.
Yeah. Do you look down?
Yeah.
They're usually lower to the ground.
Sure, I get that. Sometimes they're way higher because they're traveling on parents' shoulders.
It's true.
But it's just a weird type of people that seem to occupy a mall.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the food court and some... I don't know how to describe it. It was like one of those little rascals, like an old man's little buggy thing. What are those called?
Like a...
It's like a four-wheel scooter thing.
Like an old man scooter.
Yeah, an old man scooter. But it was done up almost like a Pope Mobile. There was caution tape covering the entire thing.
Plastic.
He had like a tiny little windshield and a tiny little side window.
Well, it looked like a quarantine rascal.
Exactly. I thought he was quarantined in his rascal.
Yeah.
Until he passed by us and we saw that one whole side of it was open.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what he's blocking himself from. Maybe it's so that when he drives, this is my theory, I just thought of now.
Yeah.
Maybe when he's driving down the sidewalk or whatever, cars won't splash him.
But what about when he goes the other way?
Well, no, he just has to always stay on the opposite side of traffic.
I guess. I'm thinking also maybe for the wind.
Well, the wind, I feel like the wind would just take that thing and go.
Yeah.
It's too windy. He's just flying away in his rascal.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much caution tape. I mean, I think
much. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm wondering if it's to warn others to be cautious around his rascal, or is it to remind him at all times that he must operate with caution because he's in a weird rascal where he doesn't have his full range of vision. The wind can just take him.
So it's just a reminder. Just all this tape is so I remember to be really cautious.
Maybe. I mean, like we saw him pass by, and I just kept watching him because he was fascinating me.
Yeah.
He had a couple of Montreal Canadiens logos on that caution tape, which was, unrelated to anything. It was just kind of strange. And I saw a Canada Post employee walk into the mall and stop and just stare at him like, what the hell am I looking at? And I was like, that's right, Canada Post employee. This is freaking weird.
Yeah.
And that's the weird cross-section of people that you get at the mall. You get weird old people. You get government working men. You get people like you and I just trying to do a podcast. And you get teenagers breathing through their mouths, trying to serve at a KFC, and not doing an especially great job.
No, you were pretty harsh with them.
I mean, I kind of was, but I mean, mind you, the girl that served me she was really sweet.
She
really
was
nice.
pleasant. The one that served me took like a minute to put on a hairnet, and then just decided at that point she was ready to take the order. Only when the other person had decided she would take, like the person who served you, had served you, and then decided to serve me because the other girl still wasn't ready, putting her hairnet on.
Oh, really? I didn't realize.
Yeah, and the one in the back. That's the one that you were.
The girl who would bring out a single
piece of
paper thing of fries.
Oh yeah,
paper envelope of fries. She just had this blank look on her face and was just mouth breathing the entire day. Just it looked like nobody was home.
She had a Juliette Lewis kind of vibe about her. No?
I don't recall who Juliette Lewis is. Off
She's
the top of my
that
head.
weird woman from What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
I don't know.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
No, I don't know.
No, eh?
No.
Natural Born Killers.
Not springing to mind.
That's it. I can't think of any more options.
Right. I'm sure if I saw her, I'd be like, oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But not one of those people who's unforgettable to me.
Yeah. They got to have one of the best jobs, though. At least for a high school. high school young adult job because you get to smell like KFC all the time. That's one of the best things about KFC.
Would you think that if you work at KFC, you really believe that your dog loves you? Like you go home and your dog is so excited to see you, but it's really because they love the smell of KFC. They're licking your face all over, but it's really because they love the KFC. And you're like, oh, my dog loves me so much.
Oh.
The dog's using you for the KFC grease and smell.
Licking that grease off of you.
Yeah.
Because I guess the day that they don't work there anymore and they come back with a briefcase, they're a lawyer now, the dog doesn't...
He's despondent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what changed. I don't know. It's maybe... And then they second guess everything. They go, maybe I was happier at the KFC because my dog, it doesn't seem as happy. I'm not as happy. And it spirals out of control. They quit their legal aid job and go back to the KFC.
They weren't ready for it. One day KFC, next day a lawyer. There needs to be some
middle
in between
ground. Some middle ground. Oh boy.
All the pressure.
Yeah. So, Matthew, we ordered chicken burgers.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really come as advertised. We got combo meals. I went up to the cashier and said, give me the Zinger box.
You were so excited to say Zinger.
I wanted a Zinger box. I wanted a box full of the Zinger burger.
Yeah.
The fries, the macaroni salad, a couple pieces of chicken.
The whole package.
And a soda. And you know what? KFC is so weird, so different, so greasy. I thought I would get a very refreshing drink.
Mm-hmm.
I got a Mountain Dew. I haven't had Mountain Dew in ages. I think I really like Mountain Dew, actually, though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It was refreshing?
It was very refreshing.
Good.
The perfect thing after a salty, salty meal.
Yeah. And the KFC was one of the only places in that whole food court where you can get ice.
That was quite evident. You want to explain, Matthew?
There was just a sign over the ice machine saying, well, it wasn't even an ice machine. It was just a part of the drink fountain. One of them gives you ice. And
the middle section, yeah.
And it says, the ice is only for KFC customers.
And while we were waiting for our food after we had filled our drinks...
As soon as other people's backs were turned.
Yeah. The employees, turn around to, check on the French fries or something.
Yeah.
And 3 people rush up and get a cup full of ice and run away.
Yeah, one of them was I think they worked at a different restaurant.
Our machine doesn't have ice, so I'm just going to go over here.
Yeah, a couple of other people with cups that were not familiar to me.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't get them from KFC. They were just like, well, when the hen's away.
And so, yeah. And so when I went to get my free refill, went for a little ice, clicked that button and just heard the machine go, we turned to each other and said, That's why. That's why. Because they can't handle ice for the entire food court.
No, they're not supplying ice for everybody.
No.
It's not fair.
But they are.
Essentially, yes.
See, now that's what happens when corporations cut corners. They want to be more efficient. We can't have the employees fill in the drinks for them. Just make the customers do it themselves. You lose that personal touch, and you lose the ice.
It's a good thing to live by.
So, Matthew, while we were eating, I was looking outside the window and looking at some young man speaking to a police officer.
Oh, yes.
And it seemed that there was something had gone wrong, and he needed to talk to a police officer. And, I continued with my meal and then checked up on him. And there was now a second police officer approaching, putting gloves on. And I always find when police put gloves on, it's no good.
What kind of gloves?
Like black gloves? I'm not sure.
Cavity searching gloves?
I don't know. I couldn't tell. It was kind of in the distance.
Fighting gloves.
That's usually what I assume it's for.
Okay.
And I find that so weird that if they're going to, why are they putting gloves on why are they putting gloves on?
Well, these are lady cops, too.
Sure.
They have softer hands.
You think that's why? I always feel like they're putting gloves on so it's you can't trace who punched who in the face,
I don't know if gloves keep my
DNA off. You can't swab me, swab you for my DNA. And then eventually this citizen had his hands in his pockets and it seemed like he gave up and walked away. It didn't seem like he was in trouble and then they were like, we'll let it slide this time. It seemed like he needed help and didn't get it. These police officers proceeded to load a box into the trunk and it didn't fit, so they put it in the back seat like some kind of criminal. And they drove off. And I'm thinking to myself, I hate cops.
But you,
This guy needed help. What did he get? A pair of gloves put on.
but you speculated this entire situation.
Oh, sure,
All we
sure,
saw
sure.
was two cops and a
Talking
guy
to
with
a
his
guy.
hands in his pockets.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like there was any urgency to the matter. And it seemed like there was a box for the cops.
Yeah. What are they taking? Evidence?
Maybe the guy called thinking it was a bomb. Get a lot of that.
No, it wasn't like a nondescript box. It looked like it was a curtain rod or something in there.
Well, maybe they were just doing their job and
Just drop by the mall to pick something up for home later.
they have breaks, you know.
Yeah. People keep telling me cops have breaks whenever I see them standing around doing nothing. That's what they always say. One time I saw at least a dozen cops parked outside a sports bar watching a UFC fight, and I complained about it. Not like
to them,
not
not
to the
directly?
police. Yeah, I didn't like tweet at the police or something. But they were like, "Hey man, cops have breaks too." I'm like, oh yeah, all 12 of them happen to have their break right during the main event.
Well, when there's no crime going on,
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess, but
they got radios.
I suppose. I
just picture you as like, if you're not going to work, I'm going to make you work.
I just started pull out a gun and start shooting people.
Well, I thought it'd be like a less violent crime,
Oh,
maybe
okay,
just
okay.
like
Like what?
streaking or something.
Oh. I just run away naked,
They'd have to
giggling.
chase you.
They just get in their cars and catch up really easily.
Well, that's if you run on the road. That's a
Well, why am I
beginners.
gonna run?
Beginners.
Am I jumping fences and?
Yeah, I had backyards and stuff.
Yeah, well, I was downtown. There were no yards.
All right.
Anyway,
Alleyways.
so
Car
then-
chase. Make that in
exactly. So I started thinking about car chases, and I thought that's so weird that when you see a car chase in a movie, almost nobody gets hit by a car. Everyone's just
Yeah.
They could be driving through Central Park and everyone's like, whoa, and running out of the way and leaping out of the way just in time, pulling their kids out of the way.
Yeah.
Little babies in carriages are getting pushed out of the way just in time. In a movie, during a car chase, nobody gets hit by a car.
Yeah.
So I was saying, I'd be happier if there were no cops. You said yes, but life would be more dangerous.
More
You wouldn't be
chaotic.
as safe.
Yeah.
I said, I feel unsafe when there are cops around. I said, but everyone would be speeding if there are no cops
That's just
around.
one of the reasons.
That's your speculation.
That's one of the things.
And then I thought, during a car chase, no one's getting hit by a car. I don't have to worry about it. Even if someone's speeding around, I probably won't get hit by that car.
I don't know, man. Because life isn't like the movies. I know that you can have,
That's a good
what
point.
was it? Die
You're
Hard.
saying Arnold
Live
Schwarzenegger
free or
can't
die
get
hard.
pregnant, actually? Dinosaurs won't come back and be part of a Macy's Day Parade like in We're Back?
It was animated, though.
Yeah.
So we live in an animated world, then maybe. Maybe it's possible.
man.
John Goodman can...
That's all perspective, man. Is blue to me what blue is to you? Maybe. To me, you look like a cartoon.
Yeah. I don't know. We'd have a different understanding of what cartoon is then.
That's true.
I feel like we probably
Correct.
see things the same way.
You're probably right.
But let's say in Terminator 2, there's
Mm-hmm.
that long car. You know what? Let's say Live Free or Die Hard.
Sure.
A lot of destruction in that movie. I think he drove a car up over a helicopter. There was a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Some people had to have died.
They never mention it, though.
You never see anybody, like, especially when, John McClane's driving his truck through a park and
Mm-hmm.
people are jumping out of the way. There's got to be a couple people who just
Didn't make it.
get slammed.
Okay, so in Die Hard 3, he is saving the city?
Oh, from bombs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he's
saving
saving
New
the
York.
city.
But there
Okay.
is I think there's a car chase.
Yeah. So now, do you think John McClane's really a hero if he saves the city from all those bombs, but drives over, like, one lady? And she doesn't die right away. And, after it's all done, they go, oh, thanks, John. So lucky that you were here to save us from all the bombs. And then, like, a month later, it's like, by the way, that one lady you hit with the truck, she died later in hospital. Complications. not from surgery. It was just like, she finally succumbed to her injuries from you hitting her with the truck.
Yeah.
Now, do you think John McClane is like having a hard time